What is going on, everyone? Nico Lins here again, and I am here with one of our boats that you guys have actually never seen on this channel before. This is an Egret 16.7. You know, a 16-foot Egret flats boat, and I really don't know what to do with this boat. And I'm going to get more into that in a second when we get the boat in the water. But before we do that and get it dirty, I'm going to give you guys a really quick overview of the boat. You know, it's a flats boat, so it's pretty simple. Big flat bow up here with cavernous storage under here. Open cockpit with lockable rod storage on both sides. Console with space for a cooler in front. Rod storage, GPS, Yamaha gauges, steering wheel, throttle, storage and switching. Storage under here. Live well in the middle. And then storage on both sides with a big ol' Yamaha 130 two-stroke on the back, which is one of the things I'm going to address in this video, what to do about the motor situation. And then of course your polling platform. And if you have a keen eye, you'll notice under here that is Kevlar and carbon fiber, and I'll talk more about that in a second. But I'm gonna get the boat in the water and then kind of explain to you guys, you know, what the options are, and I want y'all's take on what I should do with the boat. So let's get it in the water and get into it. Alright, we made it to the boat, and the first thing we got to do is make sure she starts, because this is a two-stroke Yamaha from 1999, and while we've taken flawless care of it, it's an old two-stroke, and so they can be a little finicky starting. And then this one also has not been started in a couple months here. It's been in storage. You know, behind the house we have 3 other boats taking up the boat lifts, so this one's been sitting in storage, which is kind of why I don't know what to do with it. But let's see if she starts. I got the batteries on, motor trimmed down. Let me actually prime the bulb here real quick. Oh, hold on. Come on, come on. Yep, let me prime her. Hold on, in here. You got your fuel bulb down here. Prime the motor. Oh yeah, I can feel the juices flowing now. All right. Let's try choking her. Nope. Howdy, howdy. I'll try putting her in gear. Got her done. Woof, we got a big old storm coming in, as you can see right there, so not great timer for filming. So I'm gonna put the boat at the dock at the house real quick, wait out the storm, and then I'll pick it back up. And real quick, as we approach, you can see this is why this thing has been in storage. This is the house, these are the boat lifts. We have the Bahama on that lift, the Albury on that lift, and then the new 28 reef runner on that lift, which that's my uncle's boat, and y'all are gonna see a review of that boat coming here pretty soon, so stay tuned for that. Let me get out of the rain and I'll catch back up with y'all once the storm passes. Woof. All right, so the rain is past. Let's get back on the boat here and continue on with the video real quick. Look at those beautiful 400s. I am in love with those motors, but that's not what this video was about. All right, so as you can see, we made it out here on the river. The motor, the old Yamaha 130 is absolutely ticking. You know, as I said earlier, we've maintained this thing as, you know, as best as anyone has ever maintained a 25-year-old motor. It's had a captain its entire life. And so in a second, I'm gonna get into kind of the story behind this boat, why we have it, and why I don't know what to do with it. But before we do, I'm gonna give you guys some action footage real quick so you can see how this boat runs, because she is an absolute beauty. Take a look at this. All right, so I'm sitting here editing this video right now, and directly after I made that comment, it actually started raining, so I was unable to fly the drone and get any B-roll or running footage of the boat whatsoever, so I do apologize for that. But this boat is going to be on the channel a whole lot more in the future, with getting it redone and either sending it to the Bahamas or keeping it in Florida, whatever you guys really want to see. And so just subscribe to the channel and you're going to see a whole lot more of this boat in future videos if, you know, seeing these little flats boats is something that y'all are into. So back to the video. All right, so there's the boat running. As you can see, it has a beautiful running attitude. It's an Egret, so you know it runs and rides like an absolute dream. But a little bit of background of kind of why we have this boat and, you know, how this boat got to where it is today is back in the late 90s, my grandparents, who at the time were big into, you know, the sport fishing, tournament sport fishing world, and they had a big Hatteras at the time, they kind of wanted to move more so into the, you know, long range exploration world, the more mothership type fishing and cruising. And so they built a 62-foot Nordhaven. All right, now that the ambulances are gone, and so picking up where I left off, my grandparents, they built a 62-foot Nordhaven to kind of fulfill that long range expedition mothership type boat. And so along with that Nordhaven, they also got two more little boats to go up on the bow of the Nordhaven. There was a crane, a davit on the bow that picked up the boats, and, you know, they fit up there. I think we could fit up to two 18-foot boats. And so one of the two boats that we had built to go up there was this Egret, and this is back in 1999. So this is an old boat. And so at the time they went to Egret, which was owned by Jim Gardner, I believe at the time, who is an absolute legend in the boat building and composite world. And they had him build this boat. And Egret, they have the option to build their boats out of carbon fiber and Kevlar. And so because this one was getting lifted up by a davit to go on top of another bigger boat, this boat is built completely out of carbon fiber and Kevlar. So it is incredibly light and incredibly strong. Like, it's light enough to the point where when it's sitting on the trailer, all of my brothers and I can stand around the boat and lift it up off the trailer. It's pretty impressive. And so because of that, it's kind of a unique boat, and because of the history and, you know, my grandparents built it and it's been in the family since, it's a boat that we're never going to sell. Absolutely will never sell. It's a, you know, the boat means too much to us, and for those of y'all who know skiffs, you know Egret is kind of, you know, like the Rolls Royce of the skiff world. They ride great. They don't draft the least amount of water. They do draft a little bit more, but along with that higher draft, you do get a lot better performance, and by performance I mean rough water capabilities. This thing outrides any 16-foot skiff I've ever been on in my entire life. It's pretty impressive, but we're never going to sell it. And so we had that Nordhaven all the way up until 2018, actually, so my entire childhood. And so this boat would travel around with that boat up until 2018. And so when we would be in the Bahamas all summer long, this boat was over there and it was getting used all the time. And so if I can find some pictures and videos of it, I'll put some on the screen right now. But this thing has more there's no hour gauge on this motor. I don't even know what the hours are. I know they're probably astronomical, but she's still ticking. But this thing was used and taken care of and maintained better than anything out there. But in 2018, when we sold the Nordhaven, this boat went to go live its life on one of the lifts behind my grandparents' house, which at the time it was still getting used a little bit. But we also have an 18-foot Hughes Redfisher, an old, you know, 1995 lapstrake one, which I made a video about before, which that one, it's a little bit bigger, it's a little more comfortable with a bunch of people on board. So that one usually picks up the most work when it comes to the flats boats. And so this one was getting used still, but not quite as much use. And so fast forward a couple years, and we added the 23 Albury to the fleet, and then my uncle added the 23 Reef Runner. And so the Albury and the Reef Runner took the lifts that these two flats boats are on, the 16 Egret and the 18 Hughes. And so the Hughes is mine. It's now behind my brother's house right now. But then this boat, we didn't really have a place to keep it. So we put it on the trailer and we just put it in a storage yard. And so every once in a while we would pull it out of the yard just to run the motor and stuff, but it really hasn't been touched and it really hasn't been used since. You know, this is the first time this boat has seen water in probably 3 to 4 months. And so I know most of y'all watching, you know, would probably say that if you have this boat and you're not using it, just sell it, which, you know, for most people, yes, that is the right answer. For us, no, it's not the right answer. As I mentioned earlier, we'll never sell this boat. It has too much sentimental value to the family, to me, and it's kind of a quote-unquote collector's piece boat, so it's not going anywhere. And then on top of that, as you guys have seen from the rest of the channel, I spend most of my time in the Bahamas anyways, and I love having the Bahama 41 over there. It's an absolute beast for running around the islands. But that is a pretty, you know, a boat that's good at one thing, you know, island hopping around and doing it fast. You know, if I want to go back in the flats and bonefish, obviously I can't do it in that boat. If I want to go explore the mangrove creeks, obviously I can't do it in that boat. If I want to go, you know, tow a boat to the backside of Great Abacos, to the Marls, or to the backside of Cooperstown, I can't exactly do that in the Bahama. And so we were trying to figure out what to do over there with getting a smaller boat to be able to get back and do that kind of stuff. And I remembered that we had this Egret sitting in storage, not getting touched. And so I'm like, why don't we just bring it to the Bahamas? So this is where my dilemma comes in, and it's one that I really want you guys help with, because, you know, I'm to a point where I'm posting everything I do here on YouTube, and I want it to be entertaining for you guys. So would you guys be interested in seeing me bring this Egret over to the Bahamas and use it over there and show you more of the backcountry side of the Bahamas, the running through the mangrove creeks, the bone fishing, the tarpon fishing, you know, running on the backside of Great Abaco through the Marls and doing all that sort of stuff? Is that something you guys would be interested in? Because I want to do it. I think it makes sense. Obviously, it's a big financial undertaking. The main one being the motor on this boat that we're going to have to address, which I'm going to talk about here in a second. And so it's not cheap for me to bring it over there. I want to make sure if I bring it over there, it's the right move. What is y'all's opinion on the matter? You know, what's the easiest way to get it there? You know, the easiest way is to just put it on a trailer and ship it with tropical shipping straight to Marsh Harbor. But one thing I thought about, for the sake of a video, I think it would be cool to cross this boat. And if I did, I would run it down to Palm Beach and cross over to West End and then follow Great Abaco over, or Grand Bahama and then Great Abaco. That's obviously a huge undertaking on a 16-foot flats boat. If I did do that, I'd have to have another bigger boat with me to watch me, because it's not the safest thing to do that in a 16-foot flats boat. And so, you know, my questions to y'all regarding that: one, would y'all be interested in seeing some smaller boat content with this Egret running around doing the whole backcountry thing in the Bahamas? Two, should I keep it here and do some more content with this boat here in Florida in the Indian River and trailering it around and doing flats fishing? Because I grew up doing that. I love doing it. You know, so which one of those do you guys want to see? And then third, if I do bring it to the Bahamas, is watching me cross this boat over something that you guys would be interested in? You know, I can't say I'd be looking forward to it, but it would be an interesting endeavor and I would find it pretty fun. And so, you know, I will do it as long as I have a bigger boat to follow or to be along with me to make sure it's good. And of course, I'd have to wait for a perfect day, but is that something you guys would be interested in? I'm willing to do it if it's something that you guys would watch and be interested in. So you guys let me know. And then, you know, moving forward a little bit to, you know, something I mentioned a second ago with a big financial investment, and the biggest of which being this motor. So let me hop down here for a second. So this motor, it's an old Yamaha 130 saltwater series 2-stroke motor, and it's an absolute great motor. And you know, a light 130 horsepower 2-stroke on a 16-foot flats boat made completely out of carbon fiber and Kevlar that weighs a couple 100 pounds. As you can imagine, this thing is an absolute rocket ship. And so I really like that aspect of it. I really don't want to lose the performance, because I enjoy speed and I enjoy performance. But there's also no getting around that an old 2-stroke, you know, it's not the most reliable. It's a little bit problematic. You know, this one, while it still does run, it has a hard time starting sometimes. It obviously burns a ton of fuel. We are having a couple issues with the trim motors, which that's an easy fix, but compiled with the other issues, you know, adds up to a lot more money. And then we're also more so on the top end, we're losing a lot of RPM. I don't know what it is. When we get north of like 4,500 RPM, we just lose all power. So something's going on there in the power head. But moral of the story is the boat needs a new motor. if this thing goes to the Bahamas, we're absolutely going to throw a new motor on this boat before it goes over. And the other thing I need help with is what motor to put on the boat. And so my initial thought, I'm just going to put a 115 Suzuki on the boat. You know, yes, we would lose a little bit of power, but the 115 Suzuki is a great motor. It's a simple motor. It's a reliable motor. And moreover, the Suzuki service over in the Abacos is fantastic. They have a shop on Green Turtle that does really, really good work. And so that one makes a lot of sense. And so I actually have a client who owns a big Suzuki outboard dealership. So I called him up. He's like, yeah, we can do it, no problem. Actually gave me a really, really good price on it as well, which is tempting. But the issue with that is, you know, this motor on this boat probably weighs somewhere in the 350 to 360 pound world. That 115 Suzuki weighs, I think it's like 450 or 460 pounds rigged. And so we're adding another 100 pounds to the back of this boat by doing, by going with that motor. And so, oh, got to wave to the boats going by. And so that's a lot of weight to add to the back of a little light boat. And you know, there's going to be some performance changes. I don't know if they're going to be better or worse, whatever it is. I do know the 16.7 Egrets that they put out today have the 140. Some of them have the 140 Suzukis on the back, which is the same motor as the 115 Suzuki. And so I know the new 16.7s can hold it. But again, this is a 1999 boat. You know, it's been 25 years. I'm sure a lot has changed with the construction and hull design and flotation and weights and balances and all that. And so because of that, I started looking. And so the Mercury 115 Pro XS is a great motor. It's a fantastic motor. And the weight is actually, I believe, 3 pounds lighter than this motor on it now. So realistically, that motor seems to be the perfect fit for this boat. You know, it's lighter than this one. We go down in power a little bit, being a 115 compared to a 130, but those Mercury Pro XSs are super powerful motors, so I don't think we'd even notice the difference, really. But the kicker is that one is going to be thousands of dollars more. You know, Mercury's obviously, you know, they charge a lot of money for their motors. There's no getting around it. You know, we just repowered the 41 Bahama, linked up on the screen right now. And that one was astronomically expensive. And so I did get a quote from the same people who repowered our Bahama 41 to repower this, and they're actually giving us a good deal on it. But even with them giving us a good deal on it, it's still significantly more expensive than the 115 Suzuki. You know, I'm talking thousands of dollars more. And so my dilemma is obviously with weight and all that, and I'm a Mercury person, there's no getting around it. The Mercury 115 Pro XS seems to fit the bill better for the boat. However, the 115 Suzuki, which is a motor I like a lot, a whole lot. It's very simple. I'm getting, if we put that on this boat, it's going to get all mechanical controls and all that, because that's something I can work on myself over in the Bahamas. Finding good work is hard, and it's more reliable. But it weighs 100 pounds more, and so I'm nervous of any adverse performance effects of putting that motor on the boat. And so what do you guys think? Any of you guys who know these boats or know, weights and balances of boats and are knowledgeable in the skiff world, please let me know. Please put your thoughts in the comments down below. Which motor would you guys put on this boat and why? Please say why. I want to hear everyone's opinion on why. And also, if you guys have any experience doing anything like this, and again, part of this does go into the fact that everything I do with this boat is going to be posted. Oh, you got a boat coming my way. Everything I do with this boat is going to be posted online for you guys to watch. So I want you guys involved, and I want this to be, something that, you guys want to see, so you watch these videos and I, can interact with you guys and the whole 9 yards. And so those are my questions for you. What do I do with this boat? Do I take it to the Bahamas and make content over there in it? Do I leave it here and make content over here with this boat? And if I take it over there, do I cross it? This boat's playing very loud music behind me. All right, sorry about that. That boat's playing very loud music, but in a second, so what do I do with it? And second, what motor do I put on this boat? I guess I could, in theory, just leave this motor that's on it and have it completely rebuilt or looked over. That's really not something I'm looking to do. So it's gonna have a new motor. What motor do I put? Right now, I'm between the 115 Pro XS and Mercury and the 115 Suzuki. Do I go with the more expensive motor that is the same weight, or do I go with the cheaper motor that I think is much easier to work on over in the Bahamas, but add that extra 100 pounds of the transom? I don't know. You guys please tell me. I'm looking for input. That's the whole reason I'm making this video. All right, so that's my dilemma here with this little, you know, beautiful collector's piece 16-foot carbon fiber Egret. As you can see, it's a super cool boat. I think it'd be an awesome boat for running around the Bahamas backcountry, which is literally what my grandfather purpose built this boat to do. And so I kind of want to take it back to those roots. And I'm making this video solely because I want your guys' input on what to do with the boat, and also if you guys have any other ideas, please let me know in the comments down below. But that's about it for the video. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment those answers down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.